Championship.
It's BMX time.
BMX boys have a lot of fun. 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 They ride their bikes out in the sun. They do a 180, then they double it up. 360 wow.
Hi, welcome to Birmingham for round 3 of the Kelloggs BMX Track Wars tournament. We've actually got a custom-built track this week, completely built for the Kelloggs tournament. It's big, it's bold, and it really is fast and furious. Here's how the teams are at the moment, point-wise. In the lead is Tim March, the gold team. They're leading Eric Root's red team, and that was because of 2 incredible incidents last week in Wigan. You may remember Tim was involved in an amazing race with Andy Ruffle. He beat him there, and in the US Pro class, Eric Root was completely wiped out, and that made Tim take the lead. We've actually got 2 riders who haven't been beaten at all yet. We've got Wayne Llewellyn in the 13-year-olds and Sarah J. Nichols for the girls. Should be interesting here today at Birmingham. 8 points for a win, 7 for second, right the way down to 1 for last place. Let's get on with the action.
And here is the black team's unbeaten Wayne Llewellyn on the line in the 13-year-old main. But he's in gate number 7 on the outside, whilst his chief rival, Nicky Dalton, for the white team, has a much better draw in lane 2.
Set him up, good luck. Watch the light.
This is the anxious moment as they get away from that gate and into that first vital corner. It's Llewellyn who steals a good lead to begin with. Lee Flavin falls, and Llewellyn has trouble with the straw bales, giving Nicky Dalton a chance to get clear. Nicky Dalton's gone clear, ahead of them now, and the big pursuit is coming up from behind as Mark O'Connor hammers after him with Wayne Llewellyn for good company, still in the lead though. It's Nicky Dalton powering away, Mark O'Connor second, and Llewellyn comes on the inside, gets inside Mark O'Connor cleanly there as he goes after the leader, but into the finishing straight. Nicky Dalton over that final jump. Nicky Dalton for Team White first, Wayne Llewellyn Team Black second, and Mark O'Connor Team Yellow third.
Well, in spite of the bad draw, Wayne led into the first berm, but slid wide into the straw bales and let Nicky Dalton through. And a BMX point to take note of there, Wayne Llewellyn was actually placed last for not wearing his gloves. Right, let's have a chat with one of the lady hotshots. Unbeaten in Hounslow, unbeaten in Wigan, Sarah Jane Nichols. How do you feel about this Birmingham track?
I feel fairly confident, but the track is fairly slick, so it could be kind of tight, you know. Yeah, lots of crashes, I reckon.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Right, there's a tip there from Sarah. Let's see how she gets on as she's after a hat-trick.
This girl's very fit. She runs 4 to 5 miles most days, practices judo once a week. There's also in her school long jump team. That's Sarah Jane Nichols. And the opposition, which includes Julie Woodward, who's the #1 senior girl from last year, and Debbie Scott Webb, who's #1 intermediate girl.
Watch the light.
There they go, down towards that sharp left-hander. And Sarah Jane Nichols makes a good stop on the outside. Debbie Scott Webb tries to come through and runs straight, bang, crash into the straw bales. But taking advantage of that, Melanie Volvo's gone past Sarah Jane Nichols, who's now gone into second place. It's still Melanie Volvo for the blue team, who's well ahead, and the rest are after her. Well, Sarah Jane's got a tremendous turn of speed. Can she close the gap in the finishing straight? Have they come down now that final jump? It's Melanie Volvo who holds on to finish in first place for the blue team. Second, Sarah Jane Nichols for gold, and third, Alison de Goodies for silver.
Debbie Scott Webb in a crash there, and Sarah Jane Nichols loses her unbeaten record.
But instead, we've got Melanie Volvo who's won the race. How do you feel?
Pretty good.
Look at that smile.
She's quite pleased, isn't she? There was quite a big tussle on the first turn.
Yeah.
How did you handle that?
I went on the inside, and they drifted out, and I went cut straight on the inside.
I think that's the best line to take, actually. That's pretty good.
Nice bit of riding, huh?
Okay, well done.
Well, Debbie Scott Webb's on her feet again, and she's arrived down at the finish.
Can we just take this guard off? Will it come off?
Yeah, you've got to take the guard off first. Can't get a word in here.
Okay.
What
Well, you
happened?
sound pretty disappointed.
Yeah, because I was winning down the first straight, and I went a bit wide, and everyone come on this side, and I went onto the grass verge. I tried to get back into it, and I had to tussle with a girl on here.
That first corner's quite a problem, isn't it? What is the problem here? It's because the straight's a bit short.
Yeah, well, you can't take the speed people are going, and it just throws you out.
Bad luck, Debbie. Well, this is a specially designed track here in Birmingham, but that starting straight is very short indeed. A pretty tricky ride. OK, right, it's time for Ruffles race tip number 3. What are we up to this week, Andy?
OK then, Mick, we're at the start. Now, the start, without a doubt, is the most important part of the race. Now, as you can see, when Pete's set up, he's got his front wheel pushing really hard up against that gate, and he's balancing on 2 pedals. That's the quickest way to get out the gate.
Right.
Now, he's got his body centred over the bike. Now, all his weight is on the right foot. Now, as soon as that gate starts to move, he's going to be watching the lights and the gate at the same time, which is pretty impossible.
And now, is it important to keep both wheels on the ground as you come out, or can you sort of like wheelie out?
Definitely. If you wheelie, then you're losing speed.
Right, OK, shall we see Pete in action? Here we go.
OK. As you can see there, Mick, he kept his front wheel right on the gate as it went down. That's quite a good start. You must get out the gate first, because if you get out the gate 4th or 5th, you've got a lot of work to do to come to first.
Right, Ruffles race tip number 3. So here are the points after 2 races today. The Blues in the lead, so perhaps they've been listening to Andy's starting tips.
The next main's ready to go then, the 14-year-olds, and on the inside, that's Tim Print. He's the Midlands #1 for the blue team. Then for white, Richard Freeman. Yellow team, that's Darren Wood, the first time he's hit the finals. And we have for the black team, Stu Diggins. He's the UK #1. Jolyon Stock is riding for the green team. And Warren Godfrey, the UK #2 for gold. And next to him, that's Steve Grice, local rider for the silver team. Whilst the red team, that's Anthony Outen, out on the extreme 8 gate.
Set them up and good luck.
I'm concerned to get themselves absolutely positioned right. It's a very, very important
Set them
start,
up and
this
good
one.
luck. Watch the light.
All the concentration is over now as they hammer off down that hill into that sharp left-hander. Oh, and it's Crash City all of a sudden, and Wood's gone for Burton. He really wrote it off in a big way, and he looks in trouble, and Warren Godfrey's taken advantage of that and gone out in the front, leaving the others for dead. He really has stolen a march on the rest of them as Steve Grice hammers after him. So it's Godfrey from Steve Grice. Jolyon Stock's third, but Tim Prince come on the outside of Jolyon Stock. Just one more berm to go, and Godfrey looks like he's trying a bit of the chase. Is coming from behind as Steve Grice, still in second place, has got Jolyon Stock inside him, and Tim Print trying to come up from behind too. But Godfrey holds on and hits the line first to take points for the gold team. Second was Steve Grice for silver, and Jolyon Stock just dropped into 3rd place for the green team, and poor old Tim Print had to be content with 4th. Well, Darren Wood looks all right, obviously very shaken by that, but he's going to ride down to the finish.
There was quite a bit of hassle in that first turn, like most of the races. How did you manage to get out of 1st place?
I think I was first into the corner and someone caught my back wheel. I got out of it, okay, lucky.
Right. So let's watch the start and see what happened. Warren Godfrey had a pretty good start from an outside gate, but cut right across to the inside, catching Darren Wood's front wheel, bringing Darren down, and Stu Diggins and a couple of others as well. So Darren Wood needs some attention in the ambulance.
I've got an injury here, looks pretty dodgy. It's a hand injury. What's happened there, Darren?
Well, I felt like I just got out of the gate first. I was in gate 3, so everyone's got to come across. And I decked the floor when Warren came across because like he was going for it.
Yeah.
And I felt a pedal just hit my head and it just knocked me out for a second.
So how was your gating? Did you get a good gate or
I
not?
got a brilliant gate, but just duffed it up on the first turn.
So that controversial first berm claims yet another victim. Trouble in all 3 mains so far. Let's go up on the start hill again for main 4, commentator David Duffield.
The main 4 is for 15-year-olds, and on the extreme right of the gate, we have for the black team, William Clay. Next to him is European champion, forward expert, Jason Maloney, riding for the green team. And then for the gold team, that's Steve Bigland. Alongside him, for the blue team, is Craig Schofield. And for the red team, Darren Stock. For the white team, that's Chris Wellesby. For the silver team, Gary O'Connor. And for the yellow team, John Izzard. Well, Craig Schofield and Darren Stock have drawn good gates, slap bang in the centre of this field. And can they make the most of it as they get the wheels tight against that gate?
Good luck. Watch the light.
Hammering down that hill into that sharp left-hander, jostling for positions. Oh, there's trouble there as Steve Bigland wipes out 3 men. Jason Maloney in the lead. While they get back on their bikes with Bigland looking in problems, it's still Jason Maloney in the lead. Jason Maloney from Craig Schofield and William Clay in 3rd. Heading over the final whoops. Jason Maloney takes a quick look back and can see Craig Schofield trying to close the gap. But on the line, it's Jason Maloney for green first, Craig Schofield for blue in 2nd place, and William Clay takes 3rd for the black team.
Steve Bigland, right on the inside in the black helmet, took it miles too tight, came off and brought Darren Stock down with him.
First burn's very slippery.
Yeah.
No banking at all.
Everyone's having that trouble at the moment.
Yeah.
Did you get a good start?
Wasn't bad.
Yeah? So you're not too happy with that little performance?
No.
Well, that fall by Steve drops the gold team back to 4th place with 4 races gone. And now it's freestyle time. They're going for height. Mike Dominguez, 3'6" from the top of the ramp. Eddie Fiola, 4'9". Billy Stupple, disasters last week. Ooh, nearly another hookup. I understand you jumped to 12'3" today. Happy with that?
Yeah, but I wish I had more style into that position.
Right, remembering we're saying 12'3" from the ground as well. Now, Terry, you are still a foot higher than Eddie. That was on last week's show, and you jumped something like 13'3". You must be happy with that one.
Yeah, very happy, but I had a lot bigger run-up from that. As for me, we only went from the trick ramp, and you could only get a certain height and certain speed, like, but the other day we had the bigger run-up.
Okay, and Eddie, you are confident you can sort of like go higher in the clouds than that?
I'm going to try. I think everyone's going to try.
The judges make the yellow peril Eddie Fiola, this week's top freestyler. And the team scores after 4 mains and the freestyle at Birmingham. The Blues have been in front all day. And we'll be back in a moment with more BMX racing.
Oh, what a nasty wipe out there.
Welcome back to BMX Track Wars from Birmingham. Andy Ruffles really keyed up for his Superclass race. He's determined to make up for last week's wipeout. Nothing's left to chance, so he's leaving all the interviews to me for the moment. But before Andy's race, we've the 16-year-olds. David Duffield is the commentator. Over to you, Dave.
Thanks, Mick. And in main 5, the boys take in the big double whoops down by the finish. On the right of the gate, we have Craig Burrows for the white team. For the black team, that's John Indry. For the yellow team, Scott Williams. And for red, Martin Jose. He's the number 1 in the UK. Alongside him, that's Simon Bailey for the silver team. And then for the blue team, Paul Miller, with Xavier Redouard riding for the gold team. And on the extreme left, Dale Goodwin. That's the green team rider.
Okay, get ready, guys. Set them up and good luck. Watch the light.
There goes the gate. It's a clean start for all the riders. And Scott Williams looks like he's got in the lead, but Joe's come around the outside, and that caused the problem for Bailey, who hit the straw. Still Joe's in the lead. Martin Jose, the UK number 1, being chased by Scott Williams. And Paul Miller coming up on the outside, putting a challenge in on Scott Williams over those whoops. Oh, second and third are really having a lot of trouble there, but still Martin Jose stays clear. Martin Jose clear, takes that final jump, and on the line then, It's Martin Jost, the red team, takes maximum points. Paul Miller for the blue in second. Scott Williams for the yellow team took third place.
Martin Jost got clear of the trouble, but Simon Bailey bit the dust.
Yeah, it was a really good run. I took it easy, and I kind of took them all out.
Right.
I took them up, I just carried on all the way around there.
And how you How you finding this track at the moment?
Oh, it's fast, it's mean.
Yeah?
It's good.
I was really, I was watching down there to see if old Xavier was up front, because I was going to have a lot of problems if he won again.
Yes. Well, after that, I think I could do with a rest from the racing.
OK, BMX fans, as promised, all the news, the gossip, new ideas for accessories. And with us with the news is James Black from BMX Action Bike magazine. Hello, James.
Hello there, how are you?
What happens after the Kelloggs series?
Yeah, after that, you've got European Championships on July the 21st and 22nd in this country. And there'll be 1,000 riders competing at it from 8 countries.
Yeah, will all the top boys be there?
All the top boys from Holland, Germany, France, you name it, and this country as well.
That sounds really exciting. How about any gossip, any track gossip at the moment?
Yeah, track gossip is on that subject again, the European Championships. They'd like to move, possibly, the event to Coxmoor track, one of the tracks that are in the Kellogg series.
Oh, you mean to this very Birmingham track? Well now, are there any new accessories?
Yeah, if you have a look at this bike, it's a single top tube bike. Well, this is a great bike for freestyle, but you can't do frame stands on it and other tricks where you need a double top tube. So Skyway have brought out this platform here, and it helps you do frame stands, gives you a double top tube on any bike, not only their own.
Yeah.
And it also has a kicktail on it as well, which might open up a whole new scope in tricks.
OK. Now, you've got a helmet there. What's the significance of that?
Well, now both associations, you've got to have face protection. And if you haven't got a full face helmet, and some people don't like riding them because of the comfort side, you've got to have a face guard, some protection of some kind. And here's a new one, brand new this is, Harrow face guard. Very comfortable.
Right, and that's law now?
That is law, yes.
OK, gang, so get faced up. Thanks a lot, James.
That's all right.
I'll tell you what, have you seen this new film, BMX Bandits?
I haven't seen it yet.
It's absolutely, it's really good, and it should be in your area very soon. If you're into BMXing and you're a bit of a cinema freak, take a look at this.
Now, the good guys are on the bikes and the baddies are in the car, I think.
Don't kill him, we've just got to get the walkie-talkies. I won't kill him, I'll just knock him over.
There you go, BMX Bandits on release near you shortly. Well now, they're up on the line for the Superclass, and our Andy just can't wait.
On the inside gate for the blue team, we have Tony Slater. And next to him for the silver team, that's Claude Villemont, 3 times French champion. And here's another champion, the European man himself, and that's the gold team leader, Tim March. For the red team, we have a local rider, Anthony Budd, who comes from Bromsgrove. And from further afield, the green team, we've got Jean-Francois Lally, who's been France number 2 for a couple of years now. And he's got on his right the black team rider, Alan Woods, who's the UK number 6. For the white team, there's our Andy Ruffle. 3 times he's been number 1. And out there on the extreme left is the yellow team rider, Pete Middleton. Well, they've got the bad gates over on the left, and they've got some work to do.
Okay, guys, get ready. Good luck to all of you. This has got to be some final. Set them up and good luck.
On the extreme left of the gate, this is where they've really got to put the pressure down.
Good son.
But March it is that makes the whole shot. Oh, problems behind him, and March still leads. Into second place, drops Claude Villemont, the Frenchman in second. Over those two whoops, March takes them cleanly. So Tim March stays in first place. Claude Villemont coming up in second with Pete Middleton for third place. In the finish line, there's a good challenge there by Claude Villemont. But on the line, it looks to me, yes, that's it is. It is March who stays clear. Tim March for the gold team first. Claude Villemont for silver in second place. And Pete Middleton was third for yellow.
Tim March, win number 2.
Yeah, thank you.
That was you got really out at the start very quickly.
Yeah, I was kind of practicing a lot of the time as most I could.
Yeah.
At the start of the day, so.
And how are you approaching this sort of like first burn? Because it really is causing lots of aggravation.
Yeah, well, I just kind of went in and just hoped for the best, really. Just hope no one hit me.
And you were nearly caught near the end.
Yeah, well, that's racing anyway. I just played it safe, so didn't make any mistakes and just wound up first.
So more points for the Golds.
That's it. We're going to win.
Well, not today, you're not. With one race to go, the Golds can't quite catch the runaway Blues. But poor old Andy was really caught up in that traffic jam. Look at that.
I don't know, I'm going home. I'm riding like a wet lettuce. I've never raced so bad in my life.
Well, I mean, surely that's just how it goes. I mean, if you're not out the start quick enough, you've had it.
Yeah, you know, it's a very difficult first turn. I mean, everybody bunches up and slides out. It's just the right way the race went, but I went for it and just didn't get it. Always the next time.
Well, now it's the next time for a man who's failed to finish so far in the series, US Pro Harry Leary.
I've had a bit of bad luck, as they say in the States. I've been involved in a couple accidents. It hasn't been my fault. And I was in good contention. I was running 3rd and 4th both times, and it's just, you know, guys go down and behind me and caught my back wheel in the second series, and then in the first round, Brian Patterson hit my back and knocked me down in that one. So I just have had a bit of bad luck. But today I feel pretty good.
Well, that's how it goes. Let's see if Harry can do better here at Birmingham.
Well, this is the big one. The US pros all lined up, and on the right for the white team is Nelson Shanaday. Then for the red team, Eric Roop, only 20 years of age and going to earn $55,000 this year. And that for the black team is Harry Leary, and next to him, Andy Patterson, who rides for the blue team. Well, here's cheerful Mike Miranda, smiling Mr. Hollywood himself for the gold team, and for the silver team, Brian Patterson, all 6'2" of him. And for the green team, the world champion, Clint Miller. Whilst on the outside there is the twice world champion, Greg Hill, for the yellow team. And that's the corner they've got to watch for.
Good luck.
There's £1,000 for the winner of this final, as off they go. With big Brian Patterson in the centre, but it's Eric Root that's stolen the lead. Eric Root made a superb start there. Andy Patterson and Nelson Shanaday into that bend, but it's Shanaday in second place. Over the triple whoops, Root from Shanaday. Root, Shanaday, Patterson in third. This man Root is looking really sharp today. The other work to cut out to catch him in this finishing straight. Gets his head down, really hammers that line. Takes first place, Eric Root.
We will correct the curved spine. The first...
Patterson for the blue team dropped into third. Well, he is very, very pleased with making that one all the way through, and £1,000 better off.
Series, look at him fly those whoops.
I just praise the Lord for everything.
You was riding really fantastic all day, Eric. What have you been doing?
I got myself together last night.
The Olympic group, which wanted to hear the details.
At Wigan last week.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes sometimes, you know.
So this is how they finish it. Have come up to second place.
Okay, it's the end of week 3. We've been here in Birmingham. We've had a great day. Andy's not had such a good day, though. We'll talk about that in a minute. I'll give you the results so far as they stand after 3 weeks.
The Golds, captained by UK's Tim March, lead with 126 points. The Reds and the Blues tie for second place.
Andy, not so good for you, then?
Well, you know, it's been fun, that's the main thing, and there have been some really exciting races, so let's hope it's just as good for the next one.
Well, listen, it was so good here this week, we've decided that we're going to keep the caravan here. All the info, all the people are all going to stay here, and we're going to give you another go next week. How about that?
Well, that's really good. I like this track, so it should be good.
Right, so he's going to have to make up for his performance this week. So if you're into BMXing and you like what you've seen this week, join us next week on Channel 4, same time, same place, and we'll thrill you again.
And Andy Ruffell.
BMX boys have a lot of fun. 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 They rip their bikes out in the sun. They do 180, then they double it up. 360 turn. Wow.
Hi BMX fans, and welcome to round 4 of our BMX Kelloggs Track Wars competition. It all happened last week in Birmingham, didn't it? And we're back here today because it's so exciting here, a custom-built track with one controversial berm, the one that caused all the problems last week. We've actually put another berm in, we've put some speed jumps in. It's going to be even more exciting this week, and it really is going to test our superstar BMX riders.
This is the way the team stood at the end of last week. Tim March's gold team still out in front with the Reds and the Blues on equal points, not too far behind. We're exactly halfway through the series, so there's still a bit of time for the others to catch up. The first riders, the 13-year-olds, are already on the start line. Let's find out who they are from David Duffield.
Over on the extreme right for the green team, we have Sean Gilmore, the European novices champion from last year. All the way down from Scotland, the Scottish #1, that's Andy Welsh for the silver team. Alongside him, for the blue team, we have Ian Dixon. Next, that's Russell Jarvis, the red team rider, and Wayne Llewellyn for the black team. He's the European champion as well. Alongside him, we've got Simon Hayes for the gold team, and Mark O'Connor, the local lad from Studley, rides for the yellow team. An extreme left at the gate is Nicky Dalton for the white team. It's a good crowd turned out today to watch the action, with Wayne Llewellyn and Simon Hayes slap bang in the centre of the gate. Good position to get into that sharp left-hand bend first of all. A lot of trouble there for Simon Hayes, who goes into the bales but manages to stay upright. It's Andy Welsh that couldn't make the berm. He's gone down, and Welsh drops back into last place. Up in front, it's Simon Hayes, still over the jump, with Dalton in second place. Simon Hayes has gone high on the berm, now Dalton come inside. Dalton's going over the top of that big jump and over the two whoops. Yes, he's got in the lead, clear in the front, and that's Dalton, #1 up in front. Dalton from Hayes, and in third place, it's Sean Gilmore. Into the finishing straight, over that final jump. No trouble at all for Nicky Dalton to take maximum points for the white team in first place. Simon Hayes takes second for the gold team, and Sean Gilmore in third place for the green team. And that's the second win on the trot for Nicky Dalton.
And just one faller in that race, Wayne Llewellyn, looking rather dazed.
That was quite a bunch up in the first turn. How did you manage to come out in first?
I don't know. I think